I would say that the vast majority of my subscribers, or the biggest sort of fan base that I have subscribers from, is Rangers. I've done so many Rangers videos, and the interesting thing about them over the last 10-15 years is that they had to start from the bottom of Scottish football and work all their way back up to becoming champions again. And that is very similar to the team that I'm seeing today. This story is incredible, and it is about a football team. Hola. This story is absolutely incredible. It is about a football team that was champions of Portugal. Incredibly, there's only ever been 5 champions of Portugal, one of which we will be investigating today, who got split into 2. The club got ripped apart, and the original sort of version of the club, the historic version, who kept the badge, the name and the stadium of the old club, had to start from the bottom of Portuguese football, the 6th tier. Only 5 teams have ever won the league in Portugal. Benfica have won it 37 times, Porto 29 times, Sporting 19 times, Boa Vista once, and Belenenses once. That's right, 5 champions in total, and only 3, the big 3, have won it more than once. Amazingly, the team that we're going to be seeing today were once one of Portugal's biggest clubs. They have some incredible claims to fame that you're not going to want to miss out on. But yeah, like I say, the club got ripped in 2, internal struggles, and they had to start from the bottom of Portuguese football. The lesser supported, newer and more controversial Belenenses SAD, remained in the top league of Portugal. They don't get as many fans as the other Belenenses, OS Belenenses, the more original one, who had to start at the bottom. It's complicated, but I'm going to try and unpack it in this video. Belenenses translates as the ones from Belem. So firstly, here we are now at Jardim da Torre de Belem. So yeah, this is a whole garden, but this whole area of Lisbon is absolutely beautiful. It's by the water, and it's not like the city centre anymore. We are a little bit outside of the city centre. So I used to live in Australia, and I kind of liken this part to Bondi, how Bondi isn't really part of like the main part of Sydney city, but you come just slightly outside and it's all nice by the coast, and yeah, you have some lovely landmarks and stuff. But this is really known as the sort of museum district of Lisbon, and there are some incredible sights around here that I'm gonna have to show you. Right, and I've taken you guys to Alloa Tower before, I've taken you guys to Dumbarton Castle, but what about Torre de Belem, or the Belem Tower as that translates? I hope I'm saying it right, Belem or Belem, I'm not 100% sure, but just look at this. This thing is about 600 years old, built in the 1500s, and yeah, like I say, we're a little bit outside of Lisbon now, and people will know Lisbon for Sporting and for Benfica, a little bit like people will know Glasgow for Celtic and Rangers. But how many people know Glasgow for Partick Thistle, and how many people know Lisbon for Belenenses football team? And even here, just in the shop by the water, look, you can see that they have scarves of Benfica, Sporting and Porto, and even the Portugal national team, but none of any other clubs. It's really all about the big 3 here. But today we are investigating, of course, one of the other clubs that have won the league, Belenenses. Where's their scarf, eh? And look, you may be able to see some floodlights just through there. That is where we are heading very shortly. I'm going to try out some Portuguese when I'm there. Foto do Estádio, por favor. But I've just got something to show you first. So this here was built in 1940 and was made permanent here in 1960 to mark 500 years since Henry the Navigator's death. Prince Henry the Navigator was a central figure in the early days of the Portuguese Empire and in the 15th century European maritime discoveries and maritime expansion. So yeah, he was a big figure in the early days of the Portuguese Empire, and this is to commemorate him here and all the people that would have gone out to sea in search of new lands, which would have been places, I guess, like Mozambique and Africa was where the Portuguese Empire stretched out to, and also South America, of course. We've got Brazil, who speak Portuguese, and it was down to a lot of these people here that the Brazilians still speak Portuguese to this day. Right, look at the intricacies of this incredible building, and yeah, there's all these historical sites. There's palm trees, there's the lovely water in the sea or whatever out there, but there's also a football stadium just around this corner. So yeah, we're approaching the stadium now. I will be trying to go in, and the team obviously that is here, as I've mentioned, have the bigger fan base out of the two Belenenses clubs that kind of split and became two, despite the other one that kind of formed being in the Primeira Liga, the top division of Portuguese football, and they actually play at the Estádio Nacional. That isn't the original home of Belenenses. This behind me, which we'll be trying to get access to just now, is the original home of Belenenses. However, yeah, the other team play in the Estádio Nacional, which is where Celtic won the European Cup, and I'll be going there later. I'm doing a separate video for that, so that video may or may not be out. I think this one might come out before, so yeah, that video will be out very, very soon, so subscribe so you don't miss out. Celtic fans, you're gonna love that video. Right, and that there is the first sign of a Belenenses badge that we've seen today. That is the original crest of the original Belenenses team, which this Belenenses club was allowed to keep, but the old one wasn't. So yeah, this is the original Belenenses, despite the split, and now they're obviously working their way up through the non-leagues back to where they belong. However, yeah, look, you can see they're building a Lidl here. There's a Lidl inside the sporting stadium as well, but that's what it's going to look like eventually. There's a load of building work going on here. I'm going to have to visit the old Belenenses Lidl one day. We'll have to come back and maybe get a monster from Lidl instead of the little garage. Right, and you can actually see, look, down there is where we were earlier. Some of the sites and stuff, and some of the museums, and that's like one of the main places you want to come in Lisbon for you know, tourist attractions and stuff. But we are coming up to the stadium now. Oh, look at this, proper ground up in vid here. I know I'm only kind of going to one stadium in this particular video, but it does look open. There's a bit of a club shop around here. Wow, I've been practicing my Portuguese for this moment. Foto do estádio, por favor. That means photo of stadium, please. So yeah, let's keep the fingers crossed. These are the former champions. They had to work their way back up. They're currently working their way back up from the non-leagues, right back up to the top of Portuguese football. Look at this, Club de Football OS Belenenses. Wow. I've read up about this club so much, and now I'm actually here. This is incredible. Wow, look at this. We've made it right inside. This is exactly what I wanted from this video. I didn't want it to be closed and there to be no one about. Look, we've actually made it inside. I've got some incredible facts to tell you about this club, and I wanted to save it for when I was actually in here. And look, here I am now, like actually inside the home of OS Belenenses. This stadium is incredible. Look, you can kind of see it sort of built into like that hill up there, but then obviously it goes down to the water over there, so it's kind of built on this part of the land here. It's a bit higher up there, or it's a bit lower down there. I've just pointed to my camera and pointed to maybe the groundsman over there, and he gave me the big thumbs up. So here we are now. Look at this. Let's touch the pitch of the former champions. Wow, look at this place. This is incredible. These are the kind of videos that I love. Yeah, I've done stadium tours at Benfica, Sporting. I've seen Sporting play against Porto. I'm going to see Porto and Braga play in Europe this week or next week. But these videos here are just... I love these ones. The exploring clubs and not knowing if I'm going to get in, but here I am now. Yeah, Belenenses. Yes. Yeah, good. Like oh, I love Belenenses. Yeah, yeah. They used to be the champions of Portugal. One time, and they have to rise their way back through the divisions. It's incredible, yeah. And they won yesterday. Yes. There was a game yesterday. They win, yeah. Yes. Nice. They're a good team. Yeah, you like them, yeah.
I think they're gonna nether a little bit.
Yeah.
Now he's not.
Yeah. Not just in a couple of years they will be back up at the top.
You're from England?
Yes. Yeah. Well, Scotland. I live in Scotland. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You are Rangers?
Well, no, I support Liverpool. I'm from England originally, but I just live in Scotland now. But yeah, Liverpool.
Liverpool?
Liverpool for me. Yeah. Okay. How about you?
I'm from Portugal.
Yeah, Lisbon. Who's your team?
Lisbon.
Belenenses. Nice. Belenenses through and through. I like it. I like it. Nice to meet you, man. Yeah, yeah. What's your name?
George.
George. Lovely to meet you. Sam.
Okay, Sam.
Lovely to meet you, man. Thank you. Cheers. Oh, what a nice guy. Right, and so to give you some context about how sad it is that Belenenses kind of fell out of the divisions, as George was just telling me there, how they were champions once in the league. There we go. Hola. Right, there's a bit of a weirdo up there. George was a cool guy. But yeah, just to show you a bit of context about sort of Belenenses and why it is so sad that they are kind of having to work their way back through the divisions here. Let me take you to this kind of banner here that they have at the stadium. Look at these 6 trophies that you see here. So of course Belenenses won the league in the 45-46 season, making them the first club other than the big 3, Sporting, Porto and Benfica, to actually win the league in Portugal. As I mentioned earlier, Boa Vista have also won the league, but that was in like the early 2000s. So yeah, Belenenses won it in the 40s, making them the very first team outside of the big 3 to actually win the title. And look at this. Beautiful stadium here. Belenenses has also won a number of cup trophies as well. Six championships of Portugal / Portuguese cups. I think, yeah, they have like a really weird cup system here. I think those 3 there are the Taça de Portugal, and these are like the Championship of Portugal. They are basically essentially cup competitions that Belenenses have won, and they're actually the 5th most decorated team in Portugal. Until 1982, Belenenses was one of 4 teams that had never been relegated from the 1st division. They are the team with the 4th most amount of seasons in the Premier Division, or the top tier of Portuguese football. They also have the 5th highest points tally ever in the top division as well. Imagine all these facts I'm telling you, all these, like the 5th highest points tally, the 4th amount of top tier seasons, yet they've had to start from the very bottom, the 6th tier of Portuguese football. Really sad, but quite incredible really. Belenenses was the first team in Portugal to have a turf pitch and artificial lighting as well. They're also the first Portuguese club to have played in the Europa League also. So yeah, even like, you know, 10 years ago maybe, that it changed from UEFA Cup to Europa League. This was the first Portuguese club to compete in the Europa League, and now they're working their way up through the non-leagues. They've even won a European competition, everybody's favourite UEFA competition, the Intertoto Cup. Yeah, they've won the Intertoto Cup, a bit of a joke competition I guess, not one that people think rate very highly, but the fact that this team has won a UEFA competition and has had to start at the bottom of Portuguese football is very, very sad. Rangers have only ever won one UEFA competition. The Cup Winners' Cup, obviously, that's a lot more prestigious than the Intertoto Cup, but Rangers won a UEFA competition. They've been champions, of course, more times than Belenenses, of course, but still, it's very similar, isn't it? The way that Rangers, huge club in Scotland, Belenenses, huge club in Portugal, both had to work their way up from the bottom for various reasons, for different reasons that they got put down, but there are similarities between the 2, aren't there? Wow, this place is honestly incredible. What a day I'm having here. They actually played yesterday and secured their place in the promotion playoff. So they're actually doing really well in the division they're in, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a sec. Olá, senhor. Obrigado. Bon Estádio.
Okay.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you, sir. There we go. I'm really learning my Portuguese well. Bon Estádio. Obrigado. I think that just means good stadium, thanks. I do try. Look, you can even see the Christ statue over there and the bridge that takes you over. Whoa, what a day. This is honestly, like I say, I've been to the big stadiums and that in Portugal, but these are the ones that I love to visit. The lesser known ones. I hope it like sort of brings attention to them, to you guys as well. Right, so this park is very, very complicated. So the split between the 2 clubs, it is very hard to get your head around, especially when you're just kind of looking at it through the internet. I'm sure there'll be people from the club or fans of the club who can let me know in the comment section below. But essentially, there are now 2 Belenenses clubs, the new OS Belenenses Football SAD and the former historical CF OS Belenenses, which is where we are now. The former is the one that plays in the Primeira Liga, currently at the Estádio Nacional based at the Jamor Sports Complex. The latter is still at the home of the famous Estádio do Restelo, which is where we are now in Belem, but now plays in Lisbon's Segundo Divisional. I think this is written a couple of years ago, so I think they've gone up since then. But yeah, essentially this is the kind of more still well supported club. They have the badge, they have the name, whereas the other one they had to have a completely new badge, and they play in the Premier Liga at the Estádio Nacional, like I say. That was where Celtic lifted the European Cup, which is where I'm heading later, so subscribe so you don't miss out on that video. Even many Belenenses fans apparently aren't entirely clear on what the details were in the messy separation of the club. Perhaps the easiest way to explain it is like a divorce. The SAD, the kind of newer club, got the financial strength, the first team and the Premier Liga spot, whilst the original club, the one that we're at now, has the badge, the history, the stadium, and then the majority of the fan support. But look, basically this is the original Belenenses, OS Belenenses. They have the trophies on that banner over there, as I showed you earlier. They've got the name, they've got the fans, and to be fair, if I was a fan of one of the Belenenses teams, I would obviously want to support this one. Yes, they've got to rise their way back through the divisions, but it would kind of be fun, I guess. Like when Rangers went down, I've spoke to a lot of the fans, they said it was actually fun to go to Dumbarton and Brechin in the league, so they'd never been there before, and it must be the same for this club here. And here we have around the front of the stadium, Club de Football OS Belenenses. This stadium is beautiful, it really, really is. But look, here we have, I'm not 100% sure, maybe these are inaugurados pelo presidente do CFB, so I imagine the inaugural presidents maybe of the club, possibly. Mateo and Vicente. I'm sure again people can let me know in the comments, but just check these plaques out. So these plaques show the trophies that they've won. So imagine now, like, this team had to start in the 6th tier. They're now in the 3rd tier of Portuguese football, but they've won the Campeões de Portugal 1, 2, 3 times, the Vencedores Taça de Portugal in 41, 42. This must be an old, maybe legend of the club or creator of the club, Jose Manuel Suarez. But then look, Campeões Nacionais, that is the league title that they won in 45, 46, Taça de Portugal in 60, and then Vencedores Taça de Portugal again in 88, 89. So look at that, look at this lovely little sort of stone carving they have of this maybe ex-player. I guess he's in the kit there, isn't he? But yeah, look at this, what a historic club, and really sad to see the kind of place they're in now, but they are rising their way back to where they belong. Belenenses are currently top of the Campeonato de Portugal. They're in Serie E, so I think it's, from what I've looked at, it's split into groups, like regional groups. So I believe they'd have had to get top of their group and then they go into like a playoff. They are top of their group, they have to play the other teams who are top in theirs to kind of reach the next level, the next stage of the pyramids, the next tier of the pyramid system here in Portugal. And I think from what I've seen, they are in the 3rd tier, so they could go up into the 2nd tier, the Liga 2. Belenenses currently are bottom, or Belenenses SAD, the other team, the one that is less supported, they're currently bottom of the Primeira Liga. So if they go down and this Belenenses go up, there's going to be a Belenenses derby next season, which would be absolutely huge. The ramifications of that would just be mad. Again, I've likened it to Rangers. Imagine if there were 2 offshoots of Rangers, one had to start from the bottom that had the most supporters, and then one that was kind of seen as more sort of controversial was at the top, and then they eventually met each other in a match. Imagine how big that would be, and that is the likelihood that is going to face this team or these 2 teams in potentially next season. It's looking very, very likely. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I've absolutely loved it. These are my favorites to film. Coming up, turning up at random stadiums and just seeing who's knocking around and looking into the history of these amazing clubs. If you could remember to hit that like button, that would be tremendous. I just want to say a massive, massive thank you to the channel members that we have. I'll put their names on screen right now. A huge thank you, guys. I really, really do appreciate all the support. You can click that join button and become a channel member yourself as well. So a massive, massive thank you to the guys that already have. Please do subscribe if you're new. I'll leave some videos on screen. If you could click on one to carry on watching, that would be tremendous. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.